In today's video, what I wanted to do was share with you a couple of mistakes to avoid on your first solo trip. Hey you guys, my name is Natalie and I just got back from a 2-month solo backpacking trip throughout Europe and I saw over 15 countries. It was amazing. I vlogged the whole thing, so if you want to watch that entire journey, I will link the playlist up here and in the description box down below. If you're considering going to Europe and backpacking for 2 months, 3 months, 4 months by yourself, these are some things that you should absolutely not do. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So number one, do not tell anyone that you are solo traveling, that you are by yourself. The reason I bring this up is because if you exploit that information to the world, now all of a sudden you are a target because there's no one else that's gonna back you up if you are getting attacked, if you are getting robbed, if you are getting mugged, like anything. Whenever I was solo traveling and someone's like, oh, are you by yourself? I would always be like, oh no, I'm like with my friends, they're back at the hotel, or I'm like with my family or something like that, because I never wanted to be a target. Once they know your true story, they could do anything. The other thing is if you tell someone you are alone, they could be like, okay, cool, whatever. And then after the conversation that you guys had is over, they could follow you. And you might not know because they're keeping like, a far distance from you, but they might follow you because again, you're an easy target because you're all by yourself. And so I would recommend just keeping that on the down low and creating some sort of story that other people will believe. Number two is always diversify your cash and your credit cards and your debit cards. Do not put all of your cash and credit cards in one place because you're basically asking for it. If someone steals your bag that holds all of your money, then you're screwed. If someone pickpockets you and takes your wallet that has all of your money, then you're screwed. And I bring this up because this happened to me when I was in Salt Lake City. It wasn't even in Europe. I was going on a hike and someone crashed the window to my car. They stole my purse, which had like all of my money, my laptop, my earpods, my passport, my everything. Goodbye to that because I kept everything in one place. I was so stupid. And so as a result, I had to go through the whole process of like identity theft and change my passwords to everything. I had to call my bank. It was just a nightmare. It was not a fun time. So highly recommend diversifying your cash, your credit cards, and your debit cards. Keep some in your backpack. Keep some in your suitcase. Keep some in your purse. Like diversify. Okay, the next mistake to avoid is not reading the reviews for your Airbnb or hotel, or trying to cut corners and save a little bit of money and then going for the really, really cheap place just because you want to save money. If you arrive at the hotel or Airbnb that has no reviews, you're going to be like, this is the most dangerous, disgusting, and terribly smelling place I've ever stayed at, okay? You're probably gonna wanna turn around and just go to a hotel and you're gonna realize that you just wasted all this money then on this cheap accommodation and the new accommodation. I would recommend 100% reading reviews and picking a place that has at least 3 stars and up. And for Airbnbs, make sure you read the reviews in advance. Know what you're getting into so that you don't end up in a shithole, okay? Because that's what happened to me when I was in Barcelona and it was an absolute nightmare. The place had cockroaches. My Airbnb host was living in the same apartment as me, and my room was within a closet that didn't have a lock on it, and there was a window into the closet. And so I felt incredibly unsafe. I was so disgusted. And it was a nightmare. If you want to watch the whole video and experience, I'll link it up here, but it was so bad, you guys. The next mistake to avoid is not getting an international phone plan before you leave the US or leave your country. If you didn't know, if you want to make phone calls or text messages, you are in another country and you do not have an international plan, it's going to be very, very expensive. The reason why your phone company won't tell you this before you go is because they're trying to make money. Get yourself an eSIM. I like using Airalo. That's what I used when I was in Europe. Or you can get a local SIM when you arrive in the country. But if you're not a seasoned traveler, that could be like cause a little bit of anxiety for you because you basically go to one of those little booths and then you buy a SIM and they will take your SIM out of your phone using a little tool and they'll plug in their SIM. And then that means you can basically use data within that country freely. Be aware of the packages before you go on your trip and choose a package that is not going to just milk your bank account for money. Again, I like using Airalo because you can just download the app, get it all set up before you even leave. So like you can literally arrive in Italy and have data instantly, okay? I will leave the link to Airalo down below if you want to go check that out. Airalo honestly was a game changer for me because it's an app. You can go on your phone and see how much data you've used so far on your plan. You can either be more conservative or more liberal with the amount of data you're using based on your usage, okay? If you use Verizon or T-Mobile or whatever, or the local SIM, you don't have that capability. I like that because I use a lot of data. All right, the next mistake to avoid is not sharing your location. So if you are by yourself and you are traveling and something crazy happens to you and no one has your location, where is everyone going to look? If they have a copy of your itinerary, like your family or friends or spouse or whatever, then they will kind of know where to look. But if you share your location with one person that you truly trust, then that is going to be a game changer. One of my best friends has my location, and if anything crazy does happen, she always has it. There was a situation a couple years back where no one could get a hold of me, and my entire family was freaking out, and they're like, "Where did she go? Oh my God." And they ended up calling my friend, and my friend just tracked me down and they were like, "She's at the beach, like calm down." Just have your location shared with someone so that your family doesn't call the cops or someone doesn't call the cops because you're missing. The next mistake to avoid is having a very intense itinerary that is so detailed that if something goes wrong, you're gonna freak out. I am telling you, it is so important to create an itinerary that is a rough draft. Just live in the moment when you're traveling, because if you know, like, okay, I'm gonna stop at my Airbnb and I wanna go to this restaurant, but we'll just see where the day takes me, it is so much more fun to travel. You're actually exploring and you're living in the moment. But if you're so like, okay, at 7 a.m., I'm gonna wake up, I'm gonna get this coffee, then I'm gonna walk to this place, it should take approximately 17 minutes, and lose the point of traveling, which is exploring and having fun and letting loose and just going with the flow, right? So that when you get there, it's like, you kind of know what you want to do, you know what you're stepping into, but you allow the adventure to unfold. And that's the best part, okay? Me on this one, okay? The next mistake to avoid is if you are doing long travel, booking every accommodation that you want to go to, all right? That's a mistake, because if you allow yourself to just appreciate the adventure and appreciate, like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be in this country for, let's say, a week. And if you have a good time, you can book a longer trip there, like book another week. But if you don't like your time there, you can leave and go to another country, okay? So that's the thing. It's like, don't book everything in advance if you're doing a long trip, a long backpacking trip. I made that mistake, but it gave me a peace of mind knowing, like, okay, I'm going to be in Europe for 2 months. I have everything sorted. And I knew if something crazy happened, I had everything on my itinerary. So it was already planned out. Okay. And then the next mistake to avoid is forgetting to register with STEP. And STEP is basically a government program with the United States of America where you can tell the United States which countries you are traveling to and where your accommodation is. So if you go missing, the United States government will know where you are and can basically help you out if something crazy happens. And then the last mistake to avoid is overpacking. If you have a suitcase or a backpack and you put way too much stuff in it, you are going to regret it instantly when you start walking around Europe and your back hurts. You can always throw stuff away, but you're not going to want to do that probably. So just underpack, because you can always buy stuff while you are on the trip. Okay, that's what I did a little bit, but I don't think I overpacked, but I did throw away a lot of stuff on my trip because I'm like, I don't want the skirt anymore. I didn't want that water bottle anymore. That's an ugly dress. I just started throwing stuff away. If you don't want to do that, then I would just underpack everything, because you can always wash things, okay? And you can always buy things. Do your back a favor and enjoy the journey, okay? Because when you are a minimalist while you are traveling, that is the move. That is what you want to do. So that is it for this video, you guys. Those are all the mistakes that you should definitely avoid on your first solo trip throughout Europe. If you want more videos like this, all about traveling, let me know in the comments down below. And that is it for today. I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.